It began the same way all of my deepest revelations begin, in a wrestling match with the Lord. Some wrestlings are fiery, full of clarity and force, but others are slow, exhausted, survived only by that stubborn strand of will that refuses to die. The kind Jacob knew, the kind that grinds flesh and pride into dust, the kind that leaves a permanent limp as proof that heaven touched earth and earth could not remain unchanged. This revelation was born in that kind of wrestling, because I was wrestling with something that cuts to the bone of every believer who has ever tried to obey God in the midst of human brokenness. Lord, how can I love like you when the one you command me to love and honor is a man who cannot love me back in the same way? This was not theoretical. This was not philosophical. This was my marriage, my covenant, my battlefield, my calling, and my crucible. For years, I had lived in the strange, exhausting tension that defines marriage to a narcissist, a relationship that ebbs and flows with surface-level peace, where apologies are crafted but never birthed from true repentance, where accountability is a performance and normalcy becomes the goal instead of holiness, healing, and honesty. It is a marriage that trains you, sometimes brutally, to separate actions from intentions, image from substance, words from fruit. But this morning, the weight of it hit different. I was struggling even to do the smallest honoring acts, preparing his coffee, tending to the house, extending grace in small domestic ways that feel insignificant until they cost you something deeper than time. And I said to the Lord, my heart aching under the strain, how do I keep doing this when it feels like feeding a famine? And the Lord answered me with a question that punched through my resistance like a divine arrow. Will you love him the way I have loved you when you treated me the same way? In that moment, I froze because immediately, instantly, he pulled back the curtain on my own history with him. The countless times I was faithless, cold, self-centered, blind, running, hiding, demanding mercy without giving obedience, wanting rescue and refusing to surrender. And yet, he pursued me. He rescued me. He protected me. He chased me into my own grave of addiction. He saved me from myself. He adored me into repentance, and he loved me back to life. Then he said something that gutted me and healed me at the very same time. You are released from the burden of finding worthiness in the man I've asked you to honor. It hit like thunder and it struck like lightning, because that is the prison of human love, the belief that someone must be worthy of love in order to receive it. But God whispered, when you honor him, you are honoring me. And suddenly the burden shifted. The weight began to dissolve. The impossible became attainable. He continued, you are free from the confines of human love because I am not asking you to love from your strength. I am asking you to love from mine. Agape is not sentiment. It is not emotion. It is not romance. And it is not reciprocity. Agape is obedience. Agape is sacrifice. Agape is worship. Agape is warfare. And agape is divine. And then the Lord brought me deeper to the real root of my wrestling. I realized I was wrestling not with my husband's brokenness, but with my belief about God's goodness. Because if God commands it, then it is possible. And if it is possible, then it is good, because he is good in all his ways. So the wrestling became this: Lord, if you command this kind of love from me, then you must enlarge my heart to hold it, because I do not possess this capacity on my own. And he did. Instantly, he expanded the territory of my heart, broadened its borders, deepened its foundations, stretched its walls, fortified its chambers. He widened it to hold grace for the unworthy, strength for the weary, honor for the undeserving, and love for the broken. As I stood there in my kitchen, hands trembling over simple tasks like preparing coffee, Jesus filled the room, and he said, you don't love him because he is worthy. You love him because I am worthy. And your obedience to me sanctifies this entire house. And suddenly, everything shifted. Preparing coffee became worship. Cleaning became intercession. Honoring him became honoring God. Submission became alignment with heaven. Love became warfare. My marriage became my mission field, and peace, real peace, the kind Jesus promised, settled over me like a mantle. A peace that does not depend on outcomes, a peace that does not require reciprocity, a peace that is not fragile, a peace that cannot be manipulated by human behavior, a peace that only comes when your love is anchored in God and not man. Because peace that comes from circumstances will always be held hostage by them. But peace that comes from Christ transcends them all.